Hey guys, once upon a quieter world, before electric light, before noise, people began their mornings with brushes, ribbons, and bowls of white dust. It was a time when beauty whispered, not shouted, when every gesture was slow, deliberate, and filled with grace. Tonight, we travel back to that soft century, to the candlelit rooms where wigs were powdered, combs whispered through curls, and clouds of fragrance drifted in the air. So, dear listener, if you're here to rest, to breathe, or to simply wander through the hush of history, welcome. Before we begin, take a deep breath, let your shoulders drop. And if this quiet journey brings you peace, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let the past keep you company tonight. The first light of dawn crept slowly through the tall, narrow windows of the grand house, spilling pale gold across the polished wooden floors. In these quiet hours, the world outside still slept, and the house itself seemed to hold its breath. Dust motes floated lazily in the beams of sunlight, catching the faint shimmer of gilt picture frames and crystal ornaments. In the corner of a high-ceilinged room, a mirror reflected the calm before the day's ritual began. A nobleman, his nightshirt loosely tied, sat in a chair that had seen generations of careful polishing. Beside him, a small wooden table held the instruments of transformation, a bowl of soft, white powder, combs of polished wood, brushes with bristled perfection, and delicate ribbons that would later coil around carefully tied curls. The air smelled faintly of lavender and sweet almonds, a scent meant to linger long after the morning duties were complete. Outside the room, a servant moved silently, her slippers muffled against the floorboards. She carried another bowl of powder, and in her careful steps, there was a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat that matched the stillness of the morning. She set the bowl down and opened the shutters wider, letting the sun's gentle touch illuminate the ritual to come. The nobleman raised his hands to his hair, already slightly tousled from sleep. The comb slid slowly through the strands, untangling the night's knots with a sound so soft it was almost imagined. Then, the powder was lifted from its bowl, and with a soft sprinkle, it drifted like tiny clouds onto his hair, catching the sunlight in fleeting sparks. Each movement was deliberate, each pause filled with an unspoken grace. Time seemed suspended here, measured not in minutes, but in the delicate settling of powder onto curls. He leaned closer to the mirror, watching as his reflection transformed. The soft white cloud enveloped him, a mask of elegance that had defined generations before him. The servant's hands moved in harmony, shaping, smoothing, arranging the towering mass of curls that would soon frame his face in perfect symmetry. Outside, the world still slumbered, unaware of the small, gentle drama unfolding in this quiet room. And so the morning continued, in whispers of combs, the soft sigh of powder, and the golden hush of sunlight filtering through the windows. It was a moment of solitude and ritual, a fragile bubble where time could pause and history could breathe slowly, lightly, like the drifting dust in the air. The morning deepened, yet the house remained wrapped in a quiet hush. Each tick of a distant clock was swallowed by the soft padding of slippers and the rustle of silk and lace. The nobleman's hair, now partly freed from its sleep-tangled knots, awaited the careful choreography that would turn it into a tower of curls and elegance. The servant leaned closer, her hands steady and gentle. The comb glided through each strand with deliberate patience, teasing out tangles, smoothing waves, and shaping the hair in soft, deliberate arcs. Each movement made a faint whisper, like a secret being told only to the mirrors and the floating motes of dust. A small cloud of powder hovered above the nobleman's head, catching the sunlight and scattering tiny sparkles across the polished table. He watched as the powder descended like slow-falling snow, settling on his hair in precise layers. Each handful was measured, each puff deliberate. The ritual was more than mere decoration, it was a quiet meditation, a moment when the world outside ceased to exist and only the rhythm of hair and hands mattered. Ribbons lay ready, soft pastel strips that would soon encircle curls in elegant spirals. They waited patiently, like quiet companions to a dance that had been rehearsed for decades. The servant reached for them in time with the rising light, twisting, tying, and smoothing, her hands never hurried, never loud. The mirrors reflected not only the growing tower of hair but also the subtle tension and release in each curl, each twist, each puff of powder. Beyond the windows, the gardens were waking. Birds chirped softly, and the faint rustle of leaves whispered through the panes. Yet within the room, time seemed to move in slower increments, measured in the delicate settling of powder and the gentle tug of ribbon. The nobleman felt a calm descend, a quiet intimacy with the ritual, a sense that in these moments, life was distilled to its most graceful essence. By the time the curls were fully arranged, the powder had created a soft white halo around him. It hovered in the air, a fleeting, magical presence that would vanish as soon as the wind shifted. But in that golden morning, with combs whispering and ribbons dancing, there was a profound serenity. This was not vanity, it was a meditation, a gentle performance of patience, care, and history itself. The morning breathed slowly, as did he, each inhalation mingling with the faint scent of lavender, each exhalation carrying a trace of the soft, floating powder. And in this quiet moment, the world beyond the windows seemed distant, irrelevant, and yet somehow more vivid for having paused. By mid-morning, the sunlight had grown warmer, spilling in soft golden pools across the polished floors. The dressing room, once a shadowy sanctuary, now shimmered with light that caught every detail, the gilded frames, crystal bottles, and the delicate dust that floated lazily in the air. The final stage of the ritual began. The bowl of powder, already touched and sifted, rose gently in the servant's hands. With a slow, deliberate motion, she allowed the fine white particles to fall like a gentle snowstorm over the nobleman's hair. Each flake seemed suspended in time, drifting through the air before settling into the carefully arranged curls. The powder clung lightly, softening the sharp edges of the hair, transforming it into a halo of calm elegance. The nobleman tilted his head slightly, watching the cloud descend, his eyes reflecting the soft light as if holding the moment itself. Each puff of powder was accompanied by a quiet exhale, a breath shared between the hands that shaped his appearance and the face that had surrendered to the slow rhythm of the morning. There was a sacred serenity in the act, a sense that something timeless was being repeated, a ritual carried across centuries in the hush of private rooms. Ribbons were added, twisting around curls with careful precision, a gentle touch at the base of each lock. The servant's movements were almost invisible, yet each gesture contributed to the subtle symphony of form and texture. Powder clung to silk, brushed onto shoulders, and lingered in the golden morning light like a soft mist. The air smelled faintly of almonds and lavender, a calm perfume that seemed to settle not just on hair, but in the heart itself. Outside, the world carried on as usual, the distant murmur of horses on cobblestones, the faint crowing of a rooster, but inside this room, time seemed suspended. Each second stretched, measured in whispers of combs, the gentle fall of powder, and the quiet care of hands that had perfected this art for decades. The nobleman, now fully adorned, seemed to glow in the soft light, a quiet monument to the elegance and patience of his era. And as the final traces of powder settled, drifting gently to the floor like the last snow of winter, the room exhaled its calm. The morning had passed not with haste or clamor, but in slow, deliberate beauty. It was a world apart, a world where history breathed softly, where dust could be poetry, and where the gentle rituals of vanity were a meditation on grace, patience, and time itself. As the sun dipped lower, the soft morning glow faded into a gentler, silvery hue. Candlelight flickered to life, casting dancing shadows across the polished floors and gilded walls. Mirrors multiplied the reflections, creating a delicate labyrinth of light and glass, each pane catching a shimmer of silk, lace, and the faint halo of powdered curls. The dressing room, now bathed in warm candlelight, felt alive yet serene. The nobleman, freshly powdered and crowned with ribbons, prepared for the evening. A servant carefully adjusted the folds of his coat, the soft rustle of fabric mingling with the faint crackle of wax in the nearby candelabras. Bowls of powder, combs, and brushes rested patiently on the tables, tools awaiting the next stage of transformation. The flickering flames gave each object a quiet radiance. Crystal bottles caught the light and refracted it into tiny, floating prisms. Gilded frames gleamed softly, their ornate patterns creating subtle, moving shadows on the walls. In this luminous calm, every detail of the room became part of the ritual: the curling of the ribbons, the careful smoothing of hair, and the faint scent of lavender mingling with the wax and powder. The nobleman moved with deliberate grace, his reflection in the mirror multiplying into infinite iterations of himself. Each mirror seemed to whisper stories of past evenings, grand balls, quiet conversations, the subtle, intricate dance of status and elegance that had defined centuries. His eyes traced the soft curves of his own curls, now perfected under hours of care, and a calm satisfaction settled over him. Outside, night was slowly claiming the city. The distant clatter of carriages on cobblestones, the soft murmur of footsteps, all seemed muffled, filtered through the hush of evening. Inside, time flowed differently, measured in flickering shadows, in the faint smell of powder, and in the gentle brushing of hands over hair and silk. Every gesture carried meaning, every pause was intentional, and every reflection in the silvered glass felt like a meditation in motion. By the time the candles burned steadily and the mirrors multiplied the soft glow, the nobleman's image was complete, a harmonious blend of powder, ribbons, curls, and patience. Each flick of the comb, each delicate puff of powder, each twist of ribbon had contributed to a quiet symphony of elegance, unseen by the world beyond the doors, yet entirely alive within this luminous room. And in the soft candlelight, with shadows dancing slowly across walls and mirrors reflecting infinite versions of himself, he paused. In that quiet moment, the world outside ceased to matter. The ritual had transformed him, but it had also transformed time itself, slowing it, softening it, turning it into a room of silver light where history, beauty, and patience intertwined like ribbons in a perfect curl. As the evening deepened, the house settled into a different kind of quiet, a stillness punctuated by soft footsteps and hushed murmurs. In a side room, away from the glare of candlelit mirrors, the barbers prepared their tools: fine combs, scissors sharpened to perfection, brushes with bristles soft as down, and trays of scented powders and pomades. Each instrument gleamed in the gentle candlelight, waiting for the patient hands that would bring hair to its perfect form. The nobleman entered, his reflection briefly caught in a tall mirror, and paused as the barber approached. The room smelled faintly of lavender, almonds, and a hint of wax from the burning candles. The atmosphere was almost reverent, a sanctuary where craft, patience, and ritual intertwined. Every movement was deliberate, every word spoken was low, measured, and calm. The barbers spoke in whispers, as if loud voices might disturb the delicate balance of elegance and time. With a soft rustle, the barber lifted a brush and began the careful shaping of curls, untangling and smoothing with hands that had mastered this quiet art. Powder was sprinkled sparingly, each particle drifting like tiny stars caught in the candlelight. The nobleman leaned into the ritual, his breathing slow and measured, his eyes half closed as he surrendered to the rhythm of the hands shaping his appearance. Each curl seemed to take on a life of its own, a delicate sculpture that reflected patience and centuries of tradition. The whispers of the barbers were a lullaby of expertise, blending seamlessly with the crackle of candles and the faint creak of floorboards. Even the mirrors seemed to lean in, reflecting the intricate dance of hands, hair, and powder in infinite repetition. Outside, the city had quieted, the streets hushed under the veil of night. Inside, the room felt suspended in time. Hours could pass unnoticed, measured only in the fall of powder, the twist of a curl, the soft tie of a ribbon. This was more than grooming, it was meditation, a careful choreography of motion and silence, a dialogue between the present and centuries of elegant tradition. By the end of the evening, the nobleman's hair was perfected, each curl and ribbon in precise harmony. Powder had settled into a soft, ephemeral haze, drifting gently with every movement. The barbers stepped back silently, their work complete, leaving behind an air of calm satisfaction. The room exhaled its tranquility, every reflection in the mirrors capturing not just a figure, but a moment of serenity, patience, and timeless craft. And as he gazed into the candlelit mirrors one final time, the nobleman understood the quiet power of ritual. The soft voices of the barbers had guided him through a meditation in motion, a moment where history, elegance, and care intertwined, like ribbons and curls, floating gently in the silvered evening light. The evening had grown fully dark, and the grand hall shimmered with hundreds of candle flames, their light reflected in polished floors and gilded mirrors. The air was heavy with warmth, faint perfume, and the soft, persistent scent of powder. Outside, the city slept under a silver moon, but inside, the world was alive with a quiet, deliberate elegance. The nobleman stepped into the ballroom, his towering curls and ribbons catching every flicker of candlelight. Each movement sent a small cascade of powder drifting into the warm air, a gentle cloud that clung for a moment before fading into nothingness. Around him, other guests, equally adorned with powdered wigs, glided across the polished floor, their steps measured, almost floating. Conversations were soft, words spoken in hushed tones as though to preserve the delicate serenity of the space. The mirrors along the walls multiplied the scene into infinity. Dozens of faces, halos of powder, and flowing silk were reflected in endless repetition, creating the illusion of a larger, dreamlike world. The ribbons on each wig twisted and curled in perfect harmony, a subtle dance that mirrored the minuet being performed by the guests. The music, gentle and deliberate, rose and fell in rhythm with the flicker of candle flames. From the balconies, servants moved silently, offering trays of scented powders and refreshments, their presence almost ghostly. They were the unseen threads holding the scene together, ensuring that each gesture, each curl, each puff of powder contributed to the fragile perfection of the evening. The nobleman paused, watching the cloud of powder drifting above the polished floor, and felt the calm of centuries settle around him. Every gesture in the room, no matter how small, was part of a choreography of patience and elegance. Powdering, tying ribbons, smoothing silk, and gliding across the floor, they were all quiet acts that spoke of history, tradition, and refined beauty. The candlelight caught the finest details, the shimmer of a crystal bottle, the faint sparkle of powder, the soft curve of a ribbon, the gentle rise and fall of skirts and coats. As the minuet drew to its final measure, the nobleman stood still in the center of the hall, a figure framed by silver light, floating clouds of powder, and reflections that multiplied into infinity. The world outside had faded, leaving only this moment suspended in time, a ballroom beneath a cloud, where elegance, patience, and history intertwined in a serene, dreamlike dance. And as the music softened and the candles flickered low, the nobleman understood the quiet truth of these rituals, that even in grandeur, there could be calm, even in beauty, there could be stillness, and even in powder and ribbons, history could breathe slowly, like the drifting clouds above a ballroom floor. The ballroom had emptied, leaving only the soft echo of footsteps and the faint murmur of extinguished candles. The golden glow had faded into a silvery calm, and the room smelled faintly of almonds, lavender, and the lingering haze of powdered curls. The air, once alive with movement and music, now held only quiet, as if the walls themselves had inhaled the beauty of the evening and were slowly exhaling it back into the stillness. In the dressing room, the nobleman sat once more before the mirror, now slightly dimmed in the gentle evening light. The towering curls that had caught candlelight all night were softening, and the powder had settled, leaving behind a delicate halo that spoke of careful preparation and fleeting grandeur. Each ribbon and twist, perfectly arranged hours before, now sagged slightly, as if tired from its performance. The servant moved silently through the room, brushing away the faintest traces of powder that had drifted onto the floor. Her hands, trained over countless mornings and evenings, moved with reverence, aware that even the smallest touch could disturb the fragile stillness. The nobleman watched his reflection, now softened and quiet, a stark contrast to the dazzling figure he had been earlier. It was a reminder that time, like powder, eventually settled, leaving only traces of beauty for those willing to notice. Outside, the city was cloaked in night, streets empty, rooftops glistening under the moon. Within the house, history itself seemed to pause, reflecting in mirrors, crystal bottles, and golden frames. The powdered wigs, once symbols of status and elegance, were slowly reclaiming their quiet solitude. The grandeur of the day had faded, replaced by the intimate hush of memory and reflection. Each curl and ribbon, each cloud of powder, seemed to carry stories of past generations, echoes of quiet mornings, whispered conversations, and moments of still elegance. The nobleman exhaled slowly, feeling the calm settle around him, a gentle connection to those who had lived in this ritual long before him. The world outside could rush, clamor, and call, but here, in this dimly lit room, time moved differently, softly, patiently, and with measured grace. And as he leaned back, letting the last flicker of candlelight dance across his reflection, the nobleman understood the gentle truth of these rituals, that beauty, patience, and history all lived in quiet moments, in dust that floated and settled, in ribbons that curled, and in soft echoes of silvered light. The powder had settled, and with it, a fleeting chapter of time, leaving behind only memory, calm, and the tender, lingering breath of elegance. The night deepened, and the house lay in complete stillness. The candles had long burned low, leaving pools of soft, silver light that shimmered against gilded frames and crystal bottles. The faint scent of powder lingered in the air, a quiet reminder of the day's rituals. Shadows stretched across the floors and walls, merging with the delicate haze of dust that floated like tiny motes of memory. The nobleman, now free of the elaborate curls for the evening, sat quietly in the fading glow. His gaze lingered on the mirror, which reflected not only his image but the faint traces of powder, ribbons, and candlelight, echoes of a time that had moved slowly, gracefully, and deliberately. Every detail, the soft folds of silk, the gentle curves of ribbons, the faint cloud of white dust, spoke of an era when patience and elegance were woven into the smallest actions. Outside, the streets slept under the silver gaze of the moon. The distant murmur of night was barely audible, the world had surrendered to quiet. Inside, history itself seemed to breathe, slowly, gently, like the dust settling on polished floors and fading curls. Each movement of the nobleman, each sigh in the room, felt connected to centuries of ritual and grace, to hands that had performed these ceremonies long before him and would continue after. The powder, once a cloud of brilliant white, now rested softly, invisible except in the imagination, like memories stored in the corners of the mind. The ribbons had loosened, curls had softened, and yet in this gentle decay, there was profound beauty. Time had passed, yet the traces of elegance remained. The room seemed to whisper, even when the grandest forms fade, their essence lingers, carried in light, dust, and quiet reflection. The nobleman leaned back, eyes closed, breathing in the calm. The soft gold and silver glow, the faint aroma of lavender, the settling powder, all of it created a sanctuary where the past and present merged. He felt connected to the countless mornings and evenings of powdered hair, to the barber's whispers, to the mirrored reflections, to the soft motions of ribbons and combs. Every detail was a thread in the delicate tapestry of time. And as the last traces of candlelight flickered and the silver dust settled into invisible patterns, the nobleman understood the true elegance of the past, that beauty need not shout, that patience can be quiet, and that history itself, like powder in the air, drifts gently, settles slowly, and lingers in memory long after the final curls have relaxed. The gentle dust of time remained, eternal, fragile, and breathtakingly serene. The house lay in complete silence, the night deep and still. Only the faintest glow of moonlight filtered through the tall windows, painting silver streaks across the polished floors. The nobleman sat quietly, his curls long since softened, his ribbons untwisted, and the powder now a delicate whisper in the air. Everything seemed to breathe slowly, as if the house itself had paused to reflect on the day's passage. Mirrors, once alive with infinite reflections of powdered elegance, now showed a quieter truth, faces softened, curls relaxed, and the grandeur of the evening faded into memory. The nobleman leaned closer, tracing the subtle shadows on his reflection, and in that stillness, he saw not just himself, but generations of ritual, patience, and delicate care that had unfolded in countless rooms like this one. Every object in the room seemed to hum softly with memory. The crystal bottles, gilded frames, and combs rested like witnesses to centuries of quiet moments. Even the air, heavy with the scent of almonds and lavender, seemed imbued with history. Powder, which had danced and glimmered all day, now settled gently on the furniture, catching the faint moonlight like tiny stars frozen in space. The nobleman's thoughts drifted to the people who had performed these rituals before him, the barbers with their soft voices, the servants with gentle, deliberate hands, the young men and women who had sat patiently while elegance was shaped. All had contributed to a fragile, fleeting beauty, yet its memory lingered like the fine dust in the room, a quiet testament to grace, patience, and time itself. He closed his eyes, feeling the calm of the house seep into him. Time had slowed, and in this slowing, he discovered a rare serenity. The rituals of powder and ribbons, of curls and mirrors, had been more than vanity, they had been meditation, artistry, and a gentle connection to the past. History was not only recorded in books or portraits, but also in these intimate moments, in the way dust could float, settle, and linger long after the hands had moved away. And as the nobleman finally rose and left the room, the last candle flickering low, the house exhaled its soft, lingering breath. The powdered curls, the ribbons, the mirrors, the faint scent of lavender, all remained suspended in memory, a quiet, enduring poetry of an era that had vanished but left traces of beauty in its gentle dust. In that moment, the past and present met softly, a delicate bridge made of powder, light, and the slow, steady rhythm of time itself. The nobleman knew that even when the curls relaxed and the powder settled, the elegance, patience, and quiet magic of this world would linger forever in the gentle dust of memory. The morning light crept softly through the tall windows, brushing against polished floors and gilded furniture. Outside, birds chirped faintly, but inside the house, the quiet world of preparation continued in gentle rhythm. The nobleman had completed the first stage of his powdered elegance, yet the day held more rituals, smaller, quieter, and no less delicate. In the servant's hands, a second bowl of scented powder waited, its contents fine as the first snow of winter. Combs and brushes were arranged on trays like instruments in a calm orchestra, ready to shape curls and tame stray locks. The nobleman's wig, now resting slightly higher atop his head, was adjusted, fluffed, and brushed in careful, repetitive motions. Each flick of the wrist, each gentle press of the comb, created soft whispers in the otherwise still room. The ritual extended beyond the mirror. Before venturing outdoors, the nobleman paused to inspect his coat, smoothing folds of silk and lining with meticulous care. Gloves were fitted over hands that had practiced precise gestures countless times, and ribbons were checked once more, each twist aligned perfectly with the others. These acts, though small, carried the weight of centuries, an unspoken understanding that elegance was not only worn but performed, breathed into the day through patience and subtle care. Outside the window, the morning shimmered with dew, yet inside, time seemed to move slower, measured by each deliberate touch of brush to curl, each swirl of powder, and each soft exhale of lavender-scented air. The servant moved in quiet harmony, stepping lightly to avoid disturbing the serene symmetry of preparation. Every object, the combs, the powder, the mirrors, was part of a delicate choreography, a silent ballet in which patience, precision, and grace ruled supreme. Even as the nobleman prepared for his walk into the day, there was a meditative quality to the ritual. Powder clung to hair and ribbons, catching the light like tiny sparks, while each carefully placed curl reflected a history of craft and quiet devotion. The world beyond the house might rush, bustling with voices and demands, but here, time slowed. Every gesture, every subtle motion, was a gentle reminder of a past that lingered, even in the mundane tasks of morning preparation. And as he finally adjusted his wig and stepped away from the mirror, the servant gave a quiet nod, acknowledging the completion of a ritual that was at once ordinary and extraordinary. The house exhaled its calm, and the morning, soft and golden, carried with it the whispers of elegance, care, and timeless patience. In this small room, history was alive, not in grand events or proclamations, but in every powder-dusted curl, every softly tied ribbon, and every quiet breath of the day's beginning. The soft glow of morning had grown warmer, spilling golden light across the polished floors and gilded furniture. The nobleman, now fully powdered and ribboned, prepared to step beyond the quiet sanctuary of the dressing room. Outside awaited the gentle bustle of the courtyard, the distant chatter of servants, and the faint creak of carriages on cobblestones, but inside, the rhythm of preparation remained unbroken, a calm prelude to the day's movement. The servant guided him carefully, adjusting the folds of his coat and the placement of his wig, ensuring every curl and ribbon held its intended elegance. Powder lingered in the air like a soft mist, drifting gently with each measured motion. Even the simplest gestures, the straightening of a cuff, the smoothing of a sleeve, were performed with deliberate grace, a quiet meditation that imbued each act with meaning. Outside the windows, sunlight glimmered on the courtyard stones, yet the nobleman's world moved slower. Each step toward the door was accompanied by a pause, a soft inhale, a measured exhale, as though the very air demanded careful attention. The servant's hands were steady, adjusting a stray curl, lifting a ribbon, brushing away the faintest cloud of powder that dared to drift too far. In these moments, the mundane became extraordinary, walking, adjusting, breathing, all elevated by ritual and patience. Even the household dogs seemed to recognize the stillness, their soft paws barely making a sound on the stone floors. Birds in the courtyard chirped faintly, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of dew and lavender through the half-open doors. The nobleman, walking slowly, felt the outside world through this calm lens, noticing details that would otherwise be lost, the glint of sunlight on a brass doorknob, the subtle rustle of leaves, the warm texture of stone beneath his polished shoes. By the time he reached the main hall, the final stages of preparation were complete. Powder had settled slightly on his curls, ribbons remained in perfect alignment, and every detail of his attire reflected patience, care, and centuries of tradition. The servant gave a quiet nod, signaling the end of the ritual, and the nobleman stepped into the day, carrying with him the calm, deliberate elegance of his private world. And as the doors closed softly behind him, the room exhaled its quiet breath. Light, dust, ribbons, and curls remained suspended in memory, a gentle echo of the rituals beyond the mirror. The morning had passed, not in haste or clamor, but in deliberate grace, preparing not only the nobleman's appearance, but also his mind, for the day ahead. By late morning, the nobleman had ventured into the quiet corridors of the house, the soft click of polished shoes on stone echoing in the expansive halls. The sunlight, filtering through tall windows, danced lightly across walls adorned with gilded frames and delicate tapestries. Yet even in these grand surroundings, the calm and measured rituals of preparation continued to hold sway, a quiet art that shaped not only appearance, but presence. Each movement remained deliberate. The nobleman straightened a ribbon that had shifted slightly, brushed a curl that threatened to escape its tower, and adjusted his coat with a patient hand. Powder dusted the air like a soft fog, settling gently on the floors, on furniture, and even on the polished surfaces of brass fixtures. In these small motions, there was a poetry, a rhythm of elegance repeated countless times over generations, invisible to the world yet felt deeply in each act. Servants moved silently around him, performing their own quiet tasks, arranging trays of letters, preparing tea, dusting surfaces with careful precision. Even their movements seemed part of a larger choreography, complementing the nobleman's motions, contributing to an unspoken harmony. Powder, silk, and light intertwined, creating a scene that was simultaneously ordinary and ethereal. In these hours, beauty was not loud or ostentatious, it existed in stillness, in repetition, in the subtle touch of a comb on a curl or the soft alignment of a ribbon. The nobleman paused briefly in front of a small mirror along the corridor, allowing himself a quiet reflection. Not vanity, but mindfulness, an acknowledgement that the care invested in these daily rituals carried a calm power, a presence both intimate and profound. Beyond the house, the world was moving in its usual haste. Carriages clattered over cobblestones, merchants spoke loudly in the markets, and children played with cheerful noise. Yet inside these corridors, time moved differently. Every curl, every ribbon, Every faint cloud of powder lingered in a suspended moment, a delicate meditation on patience, history, and the quiet art of living with grace. And as the nobleman finally paused near a sunlit window, gazing at the courtyard where the morning had begun, the truth of these rituals became clear: the elegance of a powdered wig was not merely external. It was the embodiment of care, rhythm, and subtle beauty, a quiet poetry that elevated each day, and left traces of serenity long after powder had settled and curls had relaxed. The morning had settled into a calm hush, and the nobleman sat once more before the mirror. His powdered curls were smooth, his ribbons tied precisely, and the faint cloud of powder lingered like a soft halo. Yet beyond the surface, beyond the carefully constructed elegance, there lay a subtler story: the face beneath the flower, the mask of society that history had shaped with patient care. Each wig was more than a fashion statement, it was a symbol of identity, a deliberate projection of status, taste, and refinement. The powdered hair towered not only above the head but above everyday concerns, creating a persona that the world could recognize, respect, or envy. The nobleman observed his reflection thoughtfully, understanding that the curl, the powder, the ribbon, were as much a part of his identity as the movements of his hands or the tilt of his posture. The servant moved silently, brushing and fluffing each strand, unaware of the quiet meditation unfolding. Powder fell softly, dust motes catching the morning light like tiny stars, and the room itself seemed to hold its breath. Mirrors multiplied the image endlessly, reflecting not just a nobleman, but a projection of elegance repeated infinitely, a reminder that each curl carried with it the weight of expectations, tradition, and social grace. Even the smallest details were deliberate. The twist of a ribbon, the height of a curl, the angle of a powdered forehead, these elements communicated subtly yet unmistakably. They spoke of refinement, of careful upbringing, of a quiet claim to status. And in this gentle ritual, the nobleman found both comfort and a strange, serene power, knowing that each layer of powder was a small armor, a shield that allowed him to navigate a world built on observation, perception, and the silent language of appearances. Beyond the room, the house began to stir. Distant footsteps, murmured conversations, the faint clatter of preparation for the day. Yet inside, time slowed. The nobleman inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of the wig, the texture of silk, the faint scent of powder. Each motion of brush and comb was deliberate, a quiet conversation between past and present, between who he was and who he appeared to be. And as the final twist of ribbon was secured, he leaned back, eyes tracing the reflections in the mirror. The mask of elegance was complete, both a statement and a meditation, a delicate balance of identity and art. In the quiet of the room, he understood that powdered wigs were more than fashion, they were a bridge between self and society, between private calm and public grace, a gentle poetry written in curls, flower, and patience. The room was quiet, yet it hummed softly with the presence of invisible histories. The nobleman adjusted the final curl of his powdered wig, feeling the weight of its layered structure as if it carried centuries of social expectation. Each strand, each ribbon, was a silent participant in a conversation he could scarcely hear but always understood, a conversation conducted not in words, but in powder, posture, and reflection. Outside, footsteps echoed along the corridors, servants moving with hushed precision, their hands trained to anticipate every gesture, every need. Yet the true whispers existed in the air around the nobleman, the subtle language of society, where elegance was both mask and message. Powdered curls communicated refinement, ribbons spoke of wealth, taste, and a careful adherence to tradition. Each detail was a signal, a quiet declaration of place in the world, and the nobleman felt the gravity of these small yet powerful cues. The mirrors multiplied the scene endlessly. The nobleman's face, serene and carefully composed, reflected back in infinite repetition, suggesting that identity was never singular. Each reflection was a mask, a projection for the observer, a careful construction designed to navigate a world that valued appearances above all. The powder itself, falling gently like suspended snow, became part of this language, a subtle whisper of calm, elegance, and control. Even his thoughts moved in rhythm with the ritual. He considered the gatherings he would attend, the conversations where status and influence floated between soft bows and whispered pleasantries. In those spaces, the wig became armor, a soft barrier against scrutiny and judgment, while simultaneously elevating him, connecting him to an unbroken chain of tradition that spanned generations. Every curl, every dusted strand, reinforced a narrative of refinement carefully maintained. The servant, silent and precise, brushed stray powder into place, seemingly unaware of the invisible dialogues her hands helped to shape. The nobleman watched the faint haze of flour drift in the sunlight, shimmering with quiet grace. In that ephemeral cloud, he sensed the stories of countless others who had worn these wigs before him, the poets, the thinkers, the courtiers, each leaving behind traces of ambition, vanity, and patience that the room now held like a gentle echo. And as he leaned back, reflecting on his carefully powdered form, the nobleman understood the duality of his appearance, elegance as both shield and signal, mask and meditation. Powdered wigs were more than decoration, they were whispers behind the hair, silent conversations with the world, delicate poetry written in flower, curls, and quiet grace. In this soft, deliberate ritual, history, identity, and beauty intertwined, leaving a gentle, enduring imprint on both the wearer and the observer. The morning had settled into a gentle hush, the house filled with soft light filtering through tall windows. The nobleman stood before the mirror one last time, his powdered curls perfectly arranged, ribbons aligned with meticulous care, and a faint dust of flour lingering like a whisper in the air. Yet beneath this surface of elegance lay a subtler reality, the weight of grace that powdered wigs carried. Each strand, each carefully twisted curl, was a testament not only to patience, but to responsibility. The wig was more than adornment, it was a symbol of expectation. Every bow and ribbon, every soft cloud of powder, carried the silent demands of society. To wear it well was to navigate a world of observation, judgment, and quiet competition, where appearance could influence perception as surely as words ever could. The servant moved gently behind him, brushing away stray powder and adjusting a ribbon, each motion a quiet echo of the ritual's history. The air smelled faintly of lavender and almonds, the scent blending seamlessly with the powder's soft haze. In the reflection, the nobleman saw not just himself, but the legacy of countless others who had borne this weight before him, the poets, courtiers, and thinkers whose carefully arranged wigs had been shields, statements, and meditations all at once. Even as he moved, adjusting cuffs and silk folds, he felt the invisible threads that tied him to this tradition. Each curl had its place, each ribbon its purpose, and together they formed a language of elegance understood across generations. Powdered wigs were not frivolous, they were deliberate, patient, and purposeful, a quiet armor in the social rituals of the day. The mirrors multiplied his image endlessly, reflecting not vanity, but discipline and poise. In each reflection, he saw a balance between freedom and obligation, between individuality and conformity. The soft flour dust, caught in the sunlight, seemed to shimmer with a history of care, expectation, and artistry that transcended mere fashion. In this small room, grace was tangible, almost weighty, a presence that demanded attention even in silence. And as he finally straightened his posture, inhaling the calm of the room, the nobleman understood the duality of powdered elegance. It was beauty and duty, meditation and display, mask and message. In the soft, drifting flower, the meticulous curls, and the quiet reflection of mirrors, he felt the enduring power of tradition, that grace, when worn deliberately, could shape not only the appearance of a day, but the very rhythm of life itself. The wig, the powder, the ribbons, they were more than adornments. They were a gentle weight, carried with patience and care, a quiet symbol of history, refinement, and the delicate art of being seen without speaking. And in that understanding, the nobleman found serenity, purpose, and the quiet poetry of a life measured in curls and flower, ribbons and reflections, patience and grace. The afternoon sun filtered lazily through tall windows, casting long golden streaks across the polished floors of the nobleman's private chamber. Powder lingered in the air, fine and weightless, as if it were a visible breath of history. The nobleman sat before his mirror, brushes and combs arrayed like instruments ready to perform, and paused to observe his reflection. Not merely his face, but the intricate curls, the towers of powder, and the careful alignment of ribbons, all meticulously crafted, all quiet statements of care. There was a rhythm to the motions, a subtle meditation that required neither hurry nor speech. Each brush through a curl was deliberate, each dusting of powder performed with soft, attentive hands. In this gentle vanity, the nobleman discovered a calm focus, a moment entirely his own amidst a world of expectations. Powder was not just cosmetic, it was ritual, a slow dance of self-expression, patience, and quiet delight. Servants moved silently around the room, aware of the delicate atmosphere, attending to small details, a tray of scented powders here, a freshly polished comb there. Even their soft footsteps blended into the rhythm, as though the room itself demanded careful attention and reverence. The mirrors multiplied the scene infinitely, reflecting curls, ribbons, and powdered elegance in endless repetition, yet the nobleman did not feel overwhelmed. Instead, he found a serene intimacy in these quiet reflections, a sense that the day could unfold slowly, beautifully, and thoughtfully. Beyond aesthetics, the wig and powder had an almost playful quality. He tilted his head to test a curl, twirled a ribbon between his fingers, and smiled faintly at the subtle artistry of the arrangement. There was humor in perfection, a gentle vanity that was as much about delight as display. Powder floated in soft clouds around him, catching sunlight and forming ephemeral halos, as if the room itself joined in this quiet celebration of care and elegance. Even the smallest imperfections, slight misalignments of a ribbon or an untamed curl, were absorbed into the calm. They became part of the living rhythm, reminders that ritual, while meticulous, was not about rigidity but about mindfulness and presence. Each action, each pause, each inhalation of lavender-scented air became a thread in a tapestry of serene indulgence, a testament to the quiet joy of self-care performed with patience and grace. And as he leaned back, satisfied with the soft perfection of curls and powdered elegance, the nobleman felt the meditative power of the ritual. In these reflective moments, vanity was gentle, playful, and profoundly human. Powder, ribbons, and mirrors were not mere tools of appearance, they were instruments of calm, carriers of history, and the soft poetry of a life measured in deliberate, beautiful gestures. The late afternoon sunlight cast warm, honeyed streaks across the nobleman's chamber, illuminating ribbons, curls, and the faint haze of powder suspended in the air. He leaned forward, brushing a stubborn curl into place, and paused to observe the small absurdities hidden in the grandeur. There was humor here, soft, private, a gentle amusement that no guest, servant, or peer would ever witness. Powder, once carefully sprinkled, now floated in lazy clouds, landing on his coat, on the floor, and even on the polished tray of combs. It formed tiny, whimsical patterns, as if the air itself were playing tricks. The nobleman chuckled faintly, a sound swallowed by the room's calm stillness, amused by how such a formal ritual could yield such playful results. Even the curls seemed to have personalities of their own, twisting and rebelling ever so slightly, asserting independence in the most charming way. The mirrors reflected endless repetitions of this gentle comedy, the nobleman, curls slightly askew, powdered and ribboned, moving with careful grace yet betraying small quirks of motion. In the reflections, he saw the contrast between intent and reality, precision and whimsy, formality and human imperfection. It was a private theater of sorts, performed for no audience but himself, a delicate reminder that elegance need not be solemn. Even the servant, moving quietly to adjust a stray curl or dust a powder trail, seemed to participate unknowingly in the subtle humor of the moment. The careful choreography of preparation, while serious in its purpose, allowed small deviations, soft surprises, and fleeting patterns that made the ritual alive and unpredictable. In these moments, the nobleman realized that the powdered wig was not only an instrument of beauty, identity, and tradition, it was also a source of quiet delight, a stage for private amusement hidden within centuries of ceremony. He straightened a ribbon and tilted his head, catching a stray puff of powder in the sunlight. It sparkled faintly, drifting like a tiny cloud, and he laughed softly again, a sound like wind rustling through silk. The mirrors multiplied this fleeting jest, each reflection a gentle echo of private humor, each curl and ribbon a participant in the quiet dance. These small, ephemeral pleasures were subtle but profound, a reminder that even in the most deliberate rituals, human playfulness endured. And as the afternoon waned, the nobleman leaned back, brushes resting gently on the tray. Powder, ribbons, curls, and sunlight had combined into a scene that was at once orderly and mischievous, serious and charming. In this secret humor, in this soft play hidden beneath layers of elegance, he discovered a deeper connection to the ritual, patience, care, reflection, and delight, all intertwined in the gentle art of powdered vanity. The room had settled into a soft quiet, bathed in the mellow light of late afternoon. Powder lingered like a gentle mist, hovering over brushes, ribbons, and carefully arranged curls. The nobleman sat before the mirror, hands moving slowly, methodically, tracing the familiar contours of each strand, smoothing, dusting, aligning. In this deliberate repetition, there was a rhythm that quieted thought and eased the mind, a meditation performed in flower and ribbon rather than words or silence. Each motion demanded attention yet allowed freedom, focus yet invited reflection. The nobleman inhaled the faint scent of almonds and lavender, feeling the subtle weight of powdered elegance settle upon him. The ritual, though external, mirrored an internal calm, each curl placed, each ribbon aligned, each dusting of powder became a measure of patience, care, and presence. In the soft repetition, the mind drifted, finding clarity not through haste, but through deliberate action. The mirrors multiplied this serene choreography, reflecting curls, ribbons, and gentle movements endlessly, creating a sense of infinity. In each reflection, the nobleman saw a convergence of history and artistry, ritual and mindfulness, vanity and meditation. Powdered wigs, he realized, were more than fashion, they were a conduit for calm, a tangible form of contemplative practice that tied him to generations of ritual and reflection. Even the servant, moving softly to adjust a stray curl or brush away a tiny cloud of powder, became part of this meditation. Their quiet, measured gestures harmonized with the nobleman's, creating a shared rhythm, a gentle dialogue in motion rather than words. Every detail, the alignment of ribbons, the careful dusting of powder, the light falling softly across silk and curls, was infused with a sense of presence, a celebration of patience, and a connection to something enduring beyond the passing day. As the nobleman leaned back, brushing the final curl into place, he felt a calm settle over him, deep and unhurried. Powder, ribbons, mirrors, and light combined into a symphony of quiet reflection. Time slowed, measured not by clocks but by the deliberate, gentle gestures of this centuries-old ritual. In that moment, he understood the profound simplicity of elegance as meditation, the way beauty, care, and focus could calm the mind, sharpen attention, and nourish the soul. And as the last light of afternoon softened into early evening, the nobleman rested, allowing the delicate haze of powder to linger, the mirrors to reflect gentle serenity, and the rhythm of daily care to imprint itself as a quiet, enduring meditation. In this slow, meticulous, and tender practice, vanity became art, ritual became contemplation, and powdered elegance revealed itself not only as external beauty, but as a doorway to inner peace. The day had reached its quiet zenith, sunlight spilling through tall windows and illuminating the nobleman's private chamber. But within these walls, another presence commanded attention: the barbers, keepers of tradition and artisans of powdered elegance. Their hands moved with a practiced rhythm, shaping curls, adjusting ribbons, and dusting powder with the precision of centuries-old expertise. Each motion was deliberate, graceful, and infused with a calm authority that the nobleman watched with deep respect. Barbers were more than servants, they were custodians of social language, crafting symbols of identity with patience and subtlety. The comb, the brush, the powder, all instruments in an intimate dialogue between craft and history. The nobleman felt the weight of their skill with each curl shaped and each ribbon adjusted. Powder floated lazily in the golden light, tiny motes catching sunlight like suspended stars, marking the passage of their delicate, unseen labor. The room was quiet except for soft whispers of movement, bristles brushing hair, fingers aligning curls, the gentle exhale of air stirring powder clouds. In this stillness, the nobleman observed not just the aesthetic outcome, but the story woven through each gesture. The barbers carried centuries of ritual, observing the nobleman's form while simultaneously preserving their own knowledge, an unspoken legacy embedded in every twist, every flourish of powder, and every careful knot of ribbon. Each mirror reflected this collaboration infinitely: nobleman and barber, elegance and craft, patience and care. In these reflections, the invisible conversation of skill and tradition unfolded. The nobleman could feel the rhythm of their shared labor, a silent harmony where powder, curls, and silk became extensions of the hands that shaped them. It was intimate yet unassuming, commanding attention not through noise, but through subtle mastery and quiet authority. Even the smallest details mattered: the height of a curl, the exact twist of a ribbon, the faint cloud of powder that caught in sunlight. Each of these choices carried weight, a reminder that elegance was constructed by hands both humble and practiced. The nobleman, watching and learning, felt gratitude for these soft voices of the barbers, voices that spoke not in words, but in movement, precision, and the unbroken thread of tradition that linked past, present, and future. And as the final curl was set, powder lightly settled on polished floors and trays of combs, the nobleman rose, understanding that the beauty he wore was not solely his own. It was the product of patient hands, quiet voices, and centuries of ritual that had shaped not just appearance, but the rhythm and poetry of a day, a life, and a world defined by deliberate, elegant care. The chamber was bathed in a soft, golden haze, sunlight catching tiny motes of powder drifting in the air. The nobleman sat patiently, ribbons perfectly aligned, curls towering elegantly, while the barbers moved around him with a quiet, practiced grace. Every motion, combing, dusting, fluffing, was accompanied by soft whispers, low tones exchanged between barber and master that went unheard by others yet carried subtle meaning. These whispers were part instruction, part observation, part gentle humor. They spoke of the height of a curl, the exact alignment of a ribbon, the fine mist of powder that lingered too heavily. Each word, though barely audible, was a thread in a tapestry of care, a shared understanding that elegance demanded patience, precision, and subtle communication. The nobleman, though silent, felt connected to this invisible dialogue, a quiet participant in the rhythm of preparation. Beyond instruction, there was the soft humor that danced between them. A curl that refused to stay, a tiny puff of powder that floated unexpectedly, or a ribbon slightly askew became moments of private amusement, acknowledged in faint smiles and barely perceptible nods. The ritual of appearance, though formal, allowed space for playfulness, a reminder that even in the structured world of powdered wigs, humanity and joy lingered beneath the surface. Mirrors reflected this intricate dance, multiplying both curls and whispers in infinite repetition. The nobleman could see himself as a figure shaped by both his own care and the gentle guidance of skilled hands. Powder floated like soft clouds around him, and each reflection captured a quiet intimacy between master and artisan, a silent acknowledgement of trust, skill, and shared purpose. The barber's hands moved with a rhythm that spoke of generations, each twist, comb, and dusting informed by centuries of tradition. They were custodians of a delicate language, curl by curl, ribbon by ribbon, powder by powder. Through their careful whispers, the nobleman learned the poetry of detail, the subtle power of patience, and the artistry embedded in even the smallest motions. As the session drew to a close, the final curls aligned, ribbons settled, and powder softly drifting, the nobleman exhaled, aware that the beauty he wore was a collaborative symphony. The whispers between the curls were more than words, they were history, craft, trust, and gentle guidance, preserved in the serene atmosphere of the room. In this soft, golden light, powdered elegance revealed its deeper essence, a union of patience, skill, and quiet companionship that gave life to every strand, every ribbon, and every floating cloud of flower. The room exhaled a gentle calm, sunlight filtering through tall windows and illuminating the soft haze of powder suspended in the air. The nobleman sat with composed elegance, while the barber's hands moved with deliberate precision, shaping curls, adjusting ribbons, and brushing away stray flower. Every motion spoke of centuries of tradition, an artistry passed down through generations, quiet and enduring. These hands were more than tools of service, they were custodians of history. Each curl twisted, each ribbon aligned, and each cloud of powder reflected not just skill, but an unbroken line of knowledge, patience, and care. The nobleman felt the weight and warmth of this legacy with each careful adjustment, recognizing that the appearance he presented was a collaboration with artisans whose craft had shaped the image of nobility for countless decades. Mirrors multiplied their labor, reflecting infinite repetitions of curls and hands, ribbons and flower, skill and patience. In this quiet multiplication, the essence of tradition became visible. The ritual was not just about beauty, but about continuity, a careful preservation of identity and elegance across time. Powder, ribbons, and mirrors became symbols, carriers of subtle language, and tangible proof of the barber's influence over appearance, demeanor, and social perception. Even the faintest movements held significance. A twist of a curl, a tilt of a ribbon, a soft adjustment of powdered height, all these gestures carried a weight beyond the moment. The barber's hands were storytellers, shaping not only the nobleman's hair but the very perception of grace and refinement. Through patience and attention, they wove history into every detail, ensuring that elegance was not fleeting, but enduring, tangible, and subtly powerful. The nobleman, observing the meticulous work, felt gratitude and reverence. The ritual of powdered wigs and ribbons was transformed in this light, from a daily necessity into a living legacy, a quiet collaboration that linked past, present, and future. In every floating speck of powder, every reflection in the mirror, he could sense the whisper of generations of barbers, each leaving their mark not just on hair, but on the culture of elegance itself. As the final curl was aligned and powder settled gently on polished surfaces, the room seemed to exhale. The nobleman rose, feeling the weight of both his wig and the history it represented. The barbers stepped back, their work complete, yet their legacy lingered in the subtle perfection of every strand, every ribbon, and every delicate cloud of flower. In their hands, beauty was not superficial, it was enduring, intimate, and profoundly human. The soft glow of morning lingered in the chamber, catching glimmers off polished surfaces and gilded frames. Beyond curls and powdered elegance, another layer of refinement awaited, the delicate world of accessories. Gloves, ribbons, fans, and small adornments, all seemingly minor, required the same care, patience, and deliberate attention that defined the larger rituals of 18th century fashion. Gloves were first, laid out with precision on a velvet-lined tray. Each stitch and seam was examined, fingers carefully eased into soft leather, and folds adjusted until perfection emerged in their subtle alignment. The nobleman observed the process with quiet concentration, recognizing that even this small detail carried weight. Gloves were both practical and symbolic, shielding the hands while communicating taste and decorum. Ribbons followed, each thread delicately tied, adjusted, and aligned. Some adorned curls, others silk coats or waistcoats, each placement deliberate, a quiet statement of elegance. Powdered curls and flowing ribbons intertwined, soft clouds of flower brushing against satin and silk, creating an almost ethereal quality, where light, texture, and movement became a harmonious dance of refinement. Fans, folded and polished, completed the ritual. Their delicate construction, from painted surfaces to gilded handles, required careful attention, for a misaligned fan could betray inattentiveness or lack of taste. Handling them demanded grace, the flick of a wrist measured, subtle, and rhythmic, as if the very motion was an extension of the wearer's posture and presence. The room itself seemed to respond to these gentle motions. Sunlight caught the powder lingering in the air, reflecting softly off ribbons and fans, while the nobleman's own reflection multiplied infinitely across mirrors. Each accessory became a note in a slow, quiet symphony, the gentle rustle of gloves, the soft twist of ribbons, the subtle click of a fan opening, all creating a rhythm of calm, patience, and careful attention. Even the servants moved with synchronized grace, assisting without haste, their hands guiding the nobleman with quiet skill. Every motion, every adjustment, was infused with awareness, contributing to a delicate choreography where powder, curls, and accessories coexisted in harmony. In these moments, the nobleman realized that true elegance was cumulative, built not only in curls or powdered height but in the subtle mastery of gloves, ribbons, and fans, tiny details that elevated the ordinary to extraordinary. As the final ribbon was secured, gloves adjusted, and fan poised, the nobleman paused to observe the complete ensemble. Powder, silk, ribbons, and accessories combined into a meditative portrait of careful artistry. Each piece, though small, reflected centuries of knowledge, practice, and grace. In this slow, deliberate world, beauty was not hurried or superficial, it was a gentle, patient art, revealed in subtle gestures and tender attention to every detail. The chamber hummed with soft calm as sunlight fell across the polished floors and gilded surfaces. The nobleman, now adorned in powdered curls, silk coats, and carefully aligned ribbons, turned his attention to the final, subtle gestures that completed the ensemble. These finishing touches, tiny adjustments, soft folds, and delicate placements, transformed meticulous preparation into a serene work of art. Fans were unfolded with precise movements, each rib aligned perfectly, each surface reflecting light in a quiet shimmer. The nobleman tested the subtle flick, observing the gentle rustle that seemed to harmonize with the floating powder and soft shadows. Even the smallest deviation could disrupt the sense of grace, yet every adjustment was executed with calm care, a mindful performance that required patience and focus. Gloves were smoothed one last time, fingers flexed gently to ensure alignment, and seams checked against light. Ribbons received a final twist, curls nestled perfectly into place, and powder settled into the hair as if obeying an invisible rhythm. Each motion was deliberate, a small meditation on symmetry, texture, and elegance, culminating in a subtle perfection that few could appreciate fully, yet everyone would unconsciously recognize. The mirrors multiplied this quiet choreography infinitely, capturing the nobleman, his accessories, and the floating powder in endless repetition. Every reflection emphasized the harmony of curls, ribbons, gloves, and fans, highlighting how minor adjustments could enhance or disrupt the delicate balance. It was here, in these finishing touches, that the art of daily elegance revealed itself in its truest form, a combination of discipline, intuition, and gentle care. Servants moved silently, assisting without intrusion, their hands guiding soft folds or offering the slightest adjustments to accessories. Powder drifted like mist in the sunlight, ribbons swayed subtly, and fans reflected soft light across polished surfaces. The chamber seemed to breathe with a rhythm dictated by these finishing touches, a slow, measured cadence that elevated preparation into a quiet ceremony. The nobleman paused to observe the complete scene: powdered curls, silk coats, aligned ribbons, smooth gloves, and poised fans. Everything was in harmony. In the soft, golden light, he understood that elegance was not solely external, it was cultivated in attention, patience, and mindful repetition. Each accessory, though small, played its part in a greater composition, contributing to a subtle poetry of grace, calm, and presence. And as he straightened, inhaling the faint almond and lavender scent of powder and silk, the nobleman felt a quiet satisfaction. The ritual of finishing touches, though seemingly minor, had transformed the day's preparation into a gentle, deliberate art. In this stillness, surrounded by curls, ribbons, fans, and gloves, the quiet majesty of 18th-century elegance revealed itself in full, a harmonious blend of tradition, beauty, and mindful practice. The chamber was bathed in the soft glow of late afternoon, the sunlight catching the faint haze of powder lingering in the air. The nobleman stood before the mirror, gloves fitted perfectly, ribbons aligned with delicate precision, and fan poised gracefully in hand. Every curl, every flourish of silk, every subtle detail spoke of patient care and deliberate attention. In this moment, the ritual of preparation was complete, and a quiet pride settled upon him. It was not a pride born of vanity or boastfulness, but of mastery and mindfulness. Each element, the towering curls, the powder, the ribbons, the gloves, the fan, had been arranged through slow, intentional gestures, each requiring focus and patience. In completing this meticulous ritual, the nobleman felt the calm satisfaction of having honored tradition, craft, and the art of presentation. Mirrors multiplied the scene endlessly, capturing curls, ribbons, gloves, fans, and the faint haze of powder in infinite reflections. Each reflection seemed to whisper the same quiet truth: elegance was cumulative, built through attention to countless small details, each contributing to a harmonious whole. The nobleman absorbed this lesson, realizing that preparation was as much about internal calm and presence as it was about outward appearance. Even the soft shadows cast by afternoon sunlight seemed to celebrate the completion. Powder settled on polished floors like a faint snowfall, ribbons swayed gently with the slightest movement, and the fan reflected light with delicate precision. The room itself seemed to exhale, acknowledging the care, patience, and artistry that had transformed ordinary garments and accessories into a seamless expression of grace. Servants moved quietly, observing without intrusion, understanding that the moment of completion was sacred, a quiet pause before the rituals of the day resumed. The nobleman inhaled the faint scent of almonds and lavender, letting the soft fragrance mingle with the visual harmony surrounding him. In this stillness, he felt a subtle shift. The exterior elegance mirrored an internal calm, a gentle balance of form, beauty, and quiet satisfaction. And as he finally turned away from the mirrors, each reflection captured a serene, composed figure, a nobleman adorned not just in powdered curls, silk, ribbons, gloves, and fan, but in the deliberate artistry of patience, tradition, and mindful practice. In the quiet pride of completion, he understood the true elegance of these centuries-old rituals: beauty, grace, and history intertwined through careful, attentive action, leaving an enduring impression on both wearer and observer. The ritual, complete in every detail, had become more than preparation. It was a meditation, a performance, and a gentle poetry of human care and tradition, preserved in powder, ribbons, fans, and the subtle serenity of a day well begun. The nobleman's chamber, bathed in the soft glow of morning sunlight, carried an invisible yet powerful presence: fragrance. Powdered wigs and silk coats were only part of the ritual. The careful application of scented powders, oils, and perfumes transformed preparation into a multisensory experience. Lavender, almonds, rose, and hints of musk mingled with the floating flower dust, creating a gentle, almost ethereal aura that extended beyond mere visual elegance. Each application was deliberate. A soft puff of scented powder onto curls, a light dab of perfume at the wrists or neck, even the careful polishing of leather gloves infused with subtle aroma, all became integral to the overall harmony of preparation. These scents were more than decoration, they were invisible signals, communicating refinement, care, and attention to detail. In a world governed by subtlety and nuance, fragrance completed the story of elegance. The nobleman inhaled softly, letting the layered scents mingle and settle. Each fragrance carried memory and intention, a quiet signature of personality woven into the ritual. Powder, ribbons, and silk were visual, the perfumes were intangible, yet they lingered with equal impact. The air itself seemed to shimmer with these invisible traces, catching in sunlight and drifting lazily across polished floors, mingling with the faint haze of powdered wigs. Even the servants played a role in this olfactory symphony, moving quietly to refill powder puffs, lightly dab perfumes, or ensure that the faintest traces of fragrance lingered exactly where intended. Their careful, unhurried motions reinforced the idea that scent was deliberate, patient, and essential, a subtle science mastered only through experience and attentiveness. Mirrors reflected not only the nobleman's visual elegance but also hinted at the invisible aura surrounding him. The gentle cloud of powder and scented mist caught the light, creating an ephemeral glow that seemed to amplify the serenity and sophistication of the moment. Every curl, ribbon, and glove was heightened by the presence of fragrance, transforming the chamber into a sanctuary of slow, deliberate refinement. The nobleman, pausing for a final inhale, felt the combined power of visual and olfactory preparation. Elegance was no longer only about appearance, it was about presence, subtlety, and the delicate layering of sensory details that communicated care, discipline, and refinement without a single word. In the soft haze of powder and scent, he recognized the profound artistry in this ritual, a harmonious balance of sight, smell, and intention that carried the weight of tradition, patience, and understated mastery. The chamber was quiet, suffused with the gentle warmth of sunlight filtering through tall windows. Powdered curls floated softly in the light, and delicate ribbons swayed with each measured motion. Amidst this visual harmony, a subtler ritual unfolded, the careful layering of scent and powder, an invisible dance that completed the nobleman's preparation. A soft puff of scented powder lifted from a velvet puff, drifting gracefully over each curl. The motion was deliberate and rhythmic, a quiet choreography of hand, wrist, and air. Perfume followed, dabbed lightly at pulse points, wrists, neck, temples, so that every movement, every gesture, carried with it a gentle, lingering aroma. Powder and perfume intertwined in the sunlight, creating a haze that seemed almost tangible, a visible signature of elegance and patience. The nobleman observed this ritual with calm focus. Each puff, each dab, each subtle adjustment was a deliberate act of meditation. Powder settled, fragrance lingered, and the movement of hands became a slow, graceful rhythm. It was a dance performed not for an audience but for presence itself, a way to inhabit elegance fully, to become both observer and participant in centuries-old traditions of refinement. Even the smallest deviations mattered. A slightly misplaced puff of powder could disrupt the invisible harmony, a dab of perfume too strong or too faint could alter the aura entirely. The servants moved quietly alongside the nobleman, assisting with unspoken precision, aware that the dance required patience, coordination, and attentiveness. Every gesture, though small, contributed to a grander composition, a subtle symphony of scent, texture, and visual grace. Mirrors multiplied the ritual endlessly, reflecting curls, ribbons, gloves, fans, and now the delicate interplay of powder and perfume. The air shimmered with suspended flower and fragrance, and in each reflection, the nobleman saw a balance of art and discipline, tradition and personal expression. The dance was at once playful and serious, meditative and deliberate, revealing the extraordinary complexity in what might appear, from afar, to be a simple routine. And as the final puff settled, perfume absorbed into the skin, and powder gently hovered in soft clouds, the nobleman felt a subtle satisfaction. The dance of powder and scent had transformed preparation into an experience that transcended mere appearance. Elegance, he realized, was a full-bodied art, visual, tactile, and olfactory, woven together through care, patience, and the slow rhythm of mindful attention. In this quiet chamber, with curls, ribbons, gloves, fans, and scented powder in harmonious interplay, the nobleman had entered a world where beauty was measured not by haste, but by deliberate, gentle mastery. And in the delicate haze of fragrance and powder, the legacy of centuries-old ritual unfolded, ephemeral yet enduring, a dance of refinement captured in light, motion, and scent. The chamber rested in soft, late afternoon light, shadows stretching across polished floors, mirrors, and silk drapery. Powdered curls and carefully arranged ribbons reflected endlessly in the mirrors, while an almost imperceptible haze of scented powder lingered in the air. It was a subtle, invisible dimension of preparation, a quiet aura that defined elegance far beyond what could be seen. As the nobleman adjusted a ribbon and smoothed a curl, he inhaled the layered scents, hints of lavender, almond, rose, and musk blended into a delicate, personal perfume. This invisible aura surrounded him, lingering beyond the room and leaving traces in the memory of anyone who encountered it. Fragrance, he realized, was as powerful a statement as powdered curls or silk coats. It spoke of care, attention, and a refined presence that did not demand attention but invited subtle admiration. Powder, floating softly in the sunlit air, caught and scattered light, creating ephemeral halos around each curl and ribbon. Mirrors multiplied this effect, giving the illusion of motion even in stillness, and amplifying the nobleman's presence without a single word or gesture. Each element, the visual perfection, the texture of silk and ribbons, and the subtle fragrance, combined to create an intangible impression of sophistication and mindfulness. The servants, moving quietly in the background, were aware of this invisible art. Their careful assistance ensured that powder settled evenly, fragrances were harmonized, and ribbons remained in perfect alignment. Every puff, dab, and adjustment contributed not only to appearance but to the creation of a presence that was both delicate and commanding, subtle yet unforgettable. The nobleman paused, sensing the invisible aura that enveloped him. Elegance, he understood, was cumulative. Each curl, each ribbon, each puff of scented powder was a brushstroke in an invisible portrait. The aura was ephemeral, yet its impact was profound. It communicated discipline, refinement, and centuries of careful tradition in a way that no spoken words could replicate. Mirrors reflected not just the physical ensemble, but the atmosphere, the calm, the meticulous mastery that lingered invisibly in every detail. Powder, scent, silk, and ribbons worked together to create a presence that transcended mere fashion. It was an art of invisibility, a whisper of refinement that announced itself softly yet persistently to the world, leaving an enduring impression of patience, taste, and subtle grace. As the afternoon light softened toward evening, the nobleman stood quietly, inhaling the mingling scents and observing the delicate haze of powder. In that serene stillness, he felt a profound connection to history, tradition, and the unseen artistry of preparation. The invisible aura of elegance, ephemeral yet lasting, revealed itself as the ultimate refinement of 18th-century ritual, a delicate dance of sight, scent, and presence, woven together in patient. The day's sunlight had softened into the mellow glow of twilight, casting long, gentle shadows across polished floors and gilded surfaces. Powdered curls, silk coats, ribbons, and fans shimmered faintly in the fading light, and the subtle scent of almond, lavender, and rose lingered in the air. In this quiet hour, the nobleman paused to reflect on the rituals of the day and the delicate artistry that had transformed preparation into a meditative experience. Sitting before the mirror, he observed his own reflection multiplied infinitely in the glass. Every curl, ribbon, and powdered strand caught the last glimmers of sunlight, while the soft haze of scented powder hung like a whisper around him. It was a moment of calm contemplation, a pause to appreciate the cumulative care and patient mastery invested in each element of appearance. The day's labor had created more than elegance, it had created serenity, presence, and a quiet connection to history. The nobleman's hands rested lightly on the arms of his chair, tracing the contours of the polished wood. The final puffs of powder had settled, ribbons were aligned perfectly, gloves smoothed, and the fan poised gracefully in his hand. Each gesture, repeated countless times throughout the day, now felt like a gentle meditation, a rhythm that harmonized body, mind, and surroundings. The quiet reflection in the mirror revealed the depth of ritual and the unseen artistry behind what many would consider mere fashion. Even the servants moved softly in the background, conscious of the sacred stillness of this twilight hour. They brushed the last stray specks of powder from the floors, adjusted a ribbon that had shifted slightly, and ensured that every element remained poised in perfect harmony. Their presence, though subtle, was part of the quiet ritual, a reminder that preparation and elegance were collaborative, layered in careful attention and shared responsibility. The nobleman inhaled deeply, letting the lingering fragrance mingle with the soft glow of fading sunlight. Powder, silk, ribbons, and scent combined to create an invisible aura that extended beyond the mirror, surrounding him in calm and refined presence. The reflections multiplied infinitely, capturing both the physical perfection and the intangible serenity of the moment. In this quiet twilight, the culmination of preparation was not just visual, it was emotional, sensory, and profoundly meditative. And as the day gave way to evening, he rose slowly, feeling the gentle weight of powdered elegance and the invisible imprint of scent and care. The last glimmer of powder caught the light like tiny, suspended stars, each reflecting the patience, skill, and tradition that had shaped the entire day. In this final quiet, the nobleman understood the subtle poetry of 18th-century ritual, that beauty, patience, and careful attention to detail could create a lasting sense of calm, presence, and quiet pride. The golden warmth of afternoon had softened into a muted twilight, and the chamber exhaled a quiet serenity. Powdered curls and silk ribbons caught the last lingering rays, reflecting a delicate shimmer as the nobleman moved with deliberate grace. The day's elaborate rituals of elegance were nearly complete, and the final gestures required a gentle touch, a soft attention to detail, and a mindful awareness of the subtle poetry in every motion. Fans were folded back with precise care, ribbons smoothed one last time, and gloves rested comfortably upon hands that had grown accustomed to the patient rhythm of the day. Powder settled slowly, drifting like tiny motes in the fading light, while the lingering fragrance of almonds and lavender created an invisible halo around him. Each movement was unhurried, each gesture meditative, as the nobleman honored the final moments of preparation before the day yielded to evening calm. Mirrors reflected not only the outward perfection of curls and ribbons but also the quiet satisfaction of a day brought to completion. The nobleman observed his reflection multiply infinitely in the glass, seeing both the meticulous work and the serene presence it inspired. The chamber itself seemed to hold its breath, responding to the soft motions and invisible grace that filled the space. Even the servants moved with delicate discretion, ensuring that every trace of powder rested where it belonged, every ribbon retained its shape, and every accessory remained poised. Their quiet movements harmonized with the nobleman's own gestures, creating a shared rhythm that elevated ordinary preparation into a quiet, ceremonial art. Each small action reinforced the cumulative elegance and calm that defined the ritual, proving that even the end of the day required mindfulness, patience, and attention. The nobleman paused for a moment of reflection, inhaling the faint, lingering fragrance of the scented powders. The invisible aura of elegance extended around him like a soft veil, a testament to careful preparation, history, and artistry. Powder, ribbons, fans, gloves, and scent combined to create a multisensory impression that transcended the physical, leaving a calm, lingering presence that could be felt even in stillness. As daylight gently faded, he straightened slowly, allowing the final glimmer of powder to catch the soft shadows of the room. Every detail, the curve of a ribbon, the height of a curl, the soft reflection of mirrors, the delicate scent in the air, reminded him that true elegance was not fleeting or superficial. It was a patient, meditative practice, a cumulative expression of care, tradition, and mindful attention to the smallest elements of life. And as evening settled fully, the nobleman allowed himself a subtle smile. The day's work of powdered elegance and scented preparation had reached its quiet conclusion. The chamber, bathed in soft twilight, reflected not only physical beauty but also the enduring calm and refined presence that came from patience, practice, and mindful artistry. In the gentle fade of day, the nobleman felt both the satisfaction of completion and the serene anticipation of tomorrow's rituals, ready to begin again in the quiet, deliberate rhythm of 18th century life. The chamber had surrendered to nightfall. Moonlight filtered gently through tall windows, casting silver streaks across polished floors, powdered curls, and carefully arranged ribbons. The once bright sunlight had faded, leaving behind a hushed, serene atmosphere. In this quiet hour, the nobleman reflected on the day's slow, deliberate rituals, the patient care, and the centuries of tradition embodied in every curl, ribbon, and puff of powder. Powder settled softly on the floor and in the nobleman's hair, catching the moonlight like tiny, suspended stars. The faint aroma of almonds, lavender, and rose lingered, subtle yet present, creating an invisible aura that extended beyond sight. Even in stillness, the chamber carried the quiet echoes of preparation, the rhythm of brushes, the soft flick of fans, the gentle alignment of ribbons. These gestures had become almost meditative, transforming the mundane into a refined, poetic ritual. The nobleman stood before the mirror one last time, observing the culmination of the day's careful work. His reflection, multiplied infinitely in the glass, revealed not only visual perfection but also the calm dignity of presence achieved through patience and mindful attention. Each detail, the curl that held, the ribbon that swayed perfectly, the gloves resting gently on his hands, was a testament to the quiet mastery of tradition. Servants moved softly, ensuring that powder settled in its place, ribbons lay smooth, and fans rested gracefully. Their unobtrusive presence reinforced the serene atmosphere, a silent acknowledgement of the care and artistry invested in every aspect of preparation. Together, noblemen and attendants had orchestrated a day of subtle elegance, a celebration of slow, deliberate refinement that reached its zenith in this final hour. The nobleman inhaled deeply, letting the lingering fragrance mingle with the cool night air. Powder, scent, silk, ribbons, gloves, and fans coalesced into an invisible, enduring aura of elegance. It was a presence felt rather than seen, subtle yet commanding, reflecting the patience, discipline, and artistry of the day's rituals. Nightfall had transformed the chamber into a sanctuary of quiet beauty, a space where history, tradition, and mindful practice converged. As he finally turned away from the mirrors, a faint smile crossed his face. The day's preparation was complete, the rituals of powdered elegance and scented mastery now a memory suspended in the soft moonlight. The final glimmer of powder caught in the silver glow, like tiny stars marking the passage of time, a gentle reminder that beauty, patience, and tradition endure even as the day fades. And in the stillness of night, the nobleman felt a profound sense of satisfaction. The chamber, the mirrors, the powder, the ribbons, the fragrance, all spoke of care, artistry, and timeless elegance. The quiet mastery of centuries had been enacted once more, leaving a serene, meditative presence that would linger in both reflection and memory. Night had arrived, yet the soft glow of refinement, the final glimmer of powdered ritual, remained, eternal in its gentle, deliberate perfection.